Good afternoon, and welcome back to the Understanding E Mastermind series, where, in fact, let me put lights on, there we go. If you can hear me and see me, let me know in the chat box. Should be over on your right-hand side, or if you're on a tablet, mobile device, scroll down, it'll say something like top chat or something like that. Click that, and you'll see the function for live chat. A window should pop up, and you should be able to get involved. Yes, quickly, thank you so much for joining. Matt may be with us. He was up super early this morning working on some code, so I know he's been flagging a little bit, but I've sent him the link, so if he's awake and up to it, he will join us for today's episode. If not, you're stuck with me, unfortunately. Yeah, guys, if you can hear me, let me know in the old on the chat box. Would be much appreciated, just so I know. Live chat or message visible. Can you hear me? Because I don't want to just waste my time talking for no real reason if you can't hear me. You should be able to hear me fine. But yeah, if you can let me know, I'd really appreciate it. Before we get stuck into the main subject of the day, Mad for Bikes, thank you so much. I appreciate that. And Maria, thank you. Good to see you all there. By all means, feel free to stop by, say hi, let me know how you're getting on. And yeah, with that said, today has been sort of exciting news. As we expected, the eBay spring seller update for 2018 has gone live. Nick Hartman, good morning, afternoon, sir. Yes, Jim, thank you so much. Mike, yes, the beast in the east. We've had our fair share here, Mike, as well. There's a good maybe inch and a half on the table outside. Although the sun is shining at the minute, but we are scheduled for some more. Probably worse where you are, I would imagine. And I do apologise if you're watching the recording. We do these live and getting involved with everyone who's joining in live in the live chat there. Again, if you're joining live, please feel free to get involved. It does make this a little bit more interactive. If we can get a conversation going. I have the chat box open, so you will get me talking to you live. But yeah, sorry, before I got distracted, the eBay Spring Seller update for 2018 has now gone live. I've just, funnily enough, done a video over on the Mank Entrepreneur channel about this. In reality, it's for the UK. It's not a huge update, really. There's nothing major in there. There's nothing crazy going on. That there was rumors that we would see some big changes, but we haven't really seen that much. To give you a very quick rundown, there's a few fee changes in a couple of categories. Nothing major. The biggest news for fees is if you are below standard seller, you are almost getting penalized by an additional 4% on top of whatever category you sell in. So that's interesting. The subscription for anchor stores is going up by a considerable amount. I think it was $269. It's going to $399. But you will be eligible for eBay Concierge, which is basically eBay's what would used to be their old account management sort of platform. Basically, give you a direct line to some customer service help, which is interesting. Again, good for the big guys. What else? They're bringing some updates to the marketing. They're getting rid of codeless coupons and bringing out new seller coupons, which are apparently going to be better. They're making some changes to Seller Hub. They've not mentioned any dates on this sort of stuff. They're making some changes to promoted listings. They're making some changes to shop fronts and HTTPS. Everything's going to be HTTPS. They're making some changes to returns and delivery expectations, getting rid of a few categories there. But again, it all seems to be little bits of stuff. It's nothing major. And that was perhaps a little surprising to me. I thought we would see something a bit more substantial from eBay. Maybe not regarding payment for the UK, but certainly maybe regarding the catalogue of pages. They talk about it, but I mean, they give the insight. I think it's about 20 pages go into this product catalogue style to begin with from May. Things like iPads, and stuff like that, which you would expect if anyone was. They would be the front runners for stuff like that. So yeah, it's not a huge update really. It's sort of business as usual. I wouldn't say any of you are going to be massively affected by this. By all means, check it out. Head over to esellercafe.com. Again, I won't post a link in the chat because it just doesn't seem to work. But head over to esellercafe.com and yeah, you'll see it. It'll be the first story on the page. I don't think we've posted anything since, and that's for the UK now. There has just been the drop of the USA seller release. I'm saying that it may not have properly gone live yet. We know where to look for it, and we found the links are now live. They weren't live a couple of hours ago, and now they are. It seems very, very similar. Howdy, thank you for joining. The US looks very similar. However, they do mention payment mediation, so Adyen is mentioned. Although again, there's nothing that sellers have to do, so there's nothing mentioned there. And yeah, I'll do another video tomorrow for the USA one, but right now it seems like it might be the autumn update where we see the major updates, or like I said, it's just some ad hoc updates from eBay throughout the next few months. With that said, again, if you want to know more, go and check them out. As I said, the link is on esellercafe.com for the UK one. The USA one, I'm sure, will follow shortly. I also have a video on the Manc Entrepreneur YouTube channel for the UK one, and the USA video will most likely be out tomorrow. So keep your eyes on that. Now, apologies. I did make an adjustment, as I'm sure you can tell by the title, and hopefully you may have seen I updated on the social channels as well, over on Facebook and there, and also on the mastermind page itself. I did, basically me and Matt did agree that we were going to have a bit of a move around on the news that Magento had integrated, or were integrating, Amazon marketplaces directly into their platform. So like I said, we want to get this in because it's quite topical, and like I said, I expect there's probably a few questions about it, some of which I probably won't be able to answer because we have a limited knowledge, and most of it I've tried to share with you. So yeah, next week we'll carry on with the Amazon, dissecting an Amazon listing and getting more in depth with that. So that's what's coming next week. Basically, the schedule is the same. It's just moved a week because we inserted this one. So with that said, for anyone who hasn't seen, and I'll try and paste a link in the chat, but I can't make any promises that will work. Again, remember to hold control or right click new tab, otherwise it might take you elsewhere. Will it work? No, it didn't work for whatever silly reason. Again, head over to esellercafe.com. Scroll down. I think it's still on the homepage. In fact, let me check. Yes, still on the homepage. Magento announces direct integration to Amazon Marketplace. That's the article there. We got news of this on Tuesday last week, I think, when they first reached out. And again, me and Matt and Richard all had a discussion about what this meant, what it could mean. Again, the details, they hadn't, basically we had to agree to the embargo before they would share the finer details, which we did, and hence we couldn't really release that news until I believe it was Thursday midnight, so Friday midnight in the morning, because they'd moved the embargo time. It was originally going to be Thursday evening or Thursday afternoon at 4 o'clock, and then it got moved to midnight, so for whatever reason. So we had this news, and we didn't know, obviously, the finer details until, like I said, they were the PR company who were handling this on behalf of Magento were very good, asked us if I had any questions. Of course I did, and went back out to them. So the news is that Magento marketplaces, Magento, e-commerce software platform, has decided they're going to integrate Amazon marketplaces natively into their software. Now, at first, we presumed that what they would have done is either have purchased or acquired M2E Pro and taken that code and built it dynamically straight into Magento, But then it seemed that that wasn't likely, because if they'd bought the code from M2E Pro, then why wouldn't they announce an eBay integration at the same time? The code already exists. And also, I remember I was at eCommerce Show North back in October where I was talking. I gave a talk about the marketplaces, funnily enough. And the point, I met Alex. Alex, the CEO of M2E Pro, was there, and we got chatting. And he made the comment that, Magento had reached out a number of times, potentially to look at acquiring M2E Pro. But for him, the deal wasn't right. The deal wasn't on the table. And like I said, for me, that was in October. And then with November, December come in, and obviously the busiest time in e-commerce largely, for them to announce this in February, it seemed like not a long enough time for any acquisition to go ahead, for all the due diligence, etc., to go through. I know how long that stuff can take. And then there was obviously then the other potential that Boost My Shop, which again was another integration, another extension for Magento, which did a similar sort of thing to M2E Pro, albeit not a huge fan of it, in our opinion. We all thought M2E Pro was better, but we thought maybe Boost My Shop had done it. And it turns out, no, Amazon's engineers have built a native integration into the Amazon marketplaces. Jay, you've said the Amazon API is extremely well documented, not a huge feat to integrate, at least on a basic level. I would agree, because we see the likes of Channel Advisor, Linworks, Volo, M2E Pro, Channel Grabber. All these platforms already work this API into their software. But this is slightly different, because now we're seeing it done by the actual e-commerce platform itself. Now, again, last year I spoke about how Shopify announced that they had done an Amazon integration, but it was, in my opinion, shit, because, apologies for language, they basically turned around and said that it was only for the Amazon.com marketplace, and transactions could only be done in US dollars. That's a bit rubbish, isn't it, really? Because the whole point of Amazon, or one of their large selling points, is, FBA, selling around the world, utilizing Amazon's warehouses and logistics networks. If you can only sell in .com, yeah, it's good, but it's not great. And that was one of the specific questions that I went back to Magento with, and sort of said, is this a full integration into the Amazon network in terms of marketplaces globally? And they came back, and they actually, to be fair, like I said, they answered all the questions. Yes, this integration supports all of Amazon's global marketplaces, including Amazon Business. So Germany, Japan, Australia, wherever they are in the world, it includes all of the Amazon marketplaces. So Jay, as you said, advanced functionality would probably take a while longer. And this is it. This sounds on paper like the perfect integration, much better than what Shopify had. In fact, I still think people are having problems with Shopify's Amazon integration. Again, I did a video on my YouTube channel, and a few people have really been slagging that off. So again, on paper, this Magento integration sounds like it's going to be much better. Again, this does bring in some questions as to how good it can be. We obviously have heard, we've seen Magento has a previous in terms of releasing software when it hasn't properly been ready. We saw that with Magento 2. They released it in November, which is terrible timing in my opinion. I can't believe they did that. And then when they did release it, it was largely beta software and didn't fully work. And only now are we starting to see actually becoming or sounding like it's more stable and actually has the features and functionality that a true e-commerce business would need, especially a multi-channel business. So this is interesting. This is an interesting development. And again, whilst it sounds good on paper, we won't fully know until we get hands-on with it. Now, on that note, the big question is, when is this estimated launch date? And Magento came back to me and said, the integration is currently in an EAP, or an early access program. Now, early access, as far as I'm concerned, is less than beta. It isn't even beta software yet. Early access is they're letting people try it and see what breaks. But they said it is available to merchants and system integrators to leverage on request. The functionality will be generally available later this year. On that news, I would strongly recommend that you don't get involved in any early access program unless you have a test site in which you're happy to test with. Do not trust your business on anything that's early access. That's my best advice I can give you. I would, if I was in your position, I was running my business, I would not be trying this early access program. I'd be sticking with M2E Pro because it is known and we know it works. That's the reality of it right now. Howard, how much monthly fee percentage? Be handy to know. At this moment in time, there is nothing. There is no mention of if there will be a cost to this, if there will be a monthly fee, a percentage. They've been very, very quiet. In fact, they've almost led you to believe that this will just be a native integration into the Magento marketplace. Now, that isn't totally a bad model to follow, because obviously you're still going to have your Magento, you're still going to have your Amazon fees as normal. But I'm wondering if Magento are just playing the numbers game here. If they can get more people using the Magento platform, because obviously Shopify made a lot of waves in 2017, and for good reason. It's very easy to use, and it would, it does basics very well. For the advanced stuff, Magento is miles better. It blows the socks off it, and that's the reality. You wouldn't find any tech person who would disagree with that. So if Magento offers you Amazon integration for free, are they going to win a lot more business where they can then make money from people utilizing the extension network, because they get paid, they now take a cut on any extensions that you pay for? Who knows? It could be part of a much bigger plan for Magento to bring more users on board. We'll see. Again, I'm not sure if we will see any groundbreaking news on that. Yeah, possible and would be nice, but could be surprised if there's no extra charge. Call me cynical. No, Howard, you have every right to be cynical. And like I said, I can only report on what we know right now. And like I said, they've not mentioned any cost to this. And the way they wrote it makes you think it would be a free integration. I'm not 100% sure. We will have to wait and see as more information on that becomes available. Maria, have you had any feedback from M2E Pro since the announcement? Absolutely nothing. I've heard nothing from M2E Pro. Funnily enough, I reached out to them about 3 weeks ago. I emailed Alex directly about something unrelated to this, and he never replied. Now, so I don't know what. To be honest, I don't know what to expect from M2E Pro or people like Boost My Shop right now, because surely they are a little bit worried. Obviously, M2E Pro's initial thing was always eBay, but Amazon is the larger marketplace right now. It's the one that more people are talking about. It's the one that has most traction and most growth. So that seems to be a natural sort of thing for them to be worried about. And I know that M2E Pro was working quite closely with Amazon Australia on their marketplace down there. So again, I don't know where M2E Pro sits on this right now. I haven't seen any emails from them. I'm guessing you guys haven't either if you're using them. I've not seen any press releases from M2E Pro. I've not seen anything at all from M2E Pro. They've been very quiet. Now, what does this mean for M2E Pro? Well, ultimately, if the Magento integration is good, as in it works, M2E Pro should be a little bit worried, because your system right now, if you have a problem, there's 3 potential areas to look. There's like Magento, there's M2E Pro, and there's Amazon. And your problem will fall somewhere within those 3, usually. If Magento get rid of the M2E Pro thing, now there's only 2 people in the mix. It's either Magento or Amazon that is causing the problem. And that just makes troubleshooting these issues a little bit easier. That and the fact that, again, having a software where you don't have, another extension running, you don't have to worry about updates for it. There's a lot of plus signs for Magento handling that piece of the puzzle if it's good. That is the underlying thing. If it's good, if it does what it says it can do, great. M2E Pro almost becomes redundant for Amazon, sales on Amazon. Until Magento make any announcement on eBay, M2E Pro still has a value, because ultimately multi-channel, you'd still want to be selling on eBay. And that then begs the question, how well would M2E Pro and Magento natively talk to each other if you had M2E Pro running just eBay and native Magento doing Amazon? We don't know. These are all questions which obviously we're going to have to look at quite closely when this happens. And this is now on mine and Matt's radar. So again, you knew that we were going to be doing Magento 2 tutorials this year. Me and Matt, when that time comes, like I said, we've got another batch of tutorials that we want to look at first. But when we start taking Magento 2 into the sites for tutorials, we're going to be requesting early access to the native integration for Amazon and stress testing it, doing what we do best with this, and doing exactly what we did with hosting an M2E Pro in the first place before we ever release any public tutorials, to see how it works, if it's good. Because now we have a choice. We do Magento 2 with M2E Pro, or we do Magento 2 with native Amazon and M2E Pro for eBay. We don't know, but ultimately we will do what we always do and show you the best way to do an integration. I've seen someone comment there. Is this for Magento 1 as well? No. It is for Magento 2 only. That was one of the other questions which I asked, because the way the press release made it sound like they were very fairy around that. They sort of made it sound like it would be for all Magento. And I just said blatantly, is this for Magento 2 only or for Magento 1.9 XX as well? This new integration is available for Magento 2 only. Not surprising, really. Magento 2 is the future for Magento. And again, you got to remember from the very base of the build, it's a totally different build. It's not like Magento 1 upgraded. It's a fresh build, Magento 2. So building integration for Magento 2 and building an integration for Magento 1 is basically building 2 very separate integrations. So it made sense that it would only be for Magento 2, which again is another string in the bow for M2E Pro. It means anyone running Magento 1 will still need M2E Pro. So bear that one in mind as well. We had a couple of other questions coming in. Would we need to upgrade to Magento 2 to access? Yes, you would. I saw the M2 Pro stand when I was at Spring Fair, but didn't talk to them. Right, yeah. I mean, like I said, I imagine they'll be at IRX. I won't be there this year, but I imagine they're there. Howard saw something about repricing. If it included a decent repricer, not the existing native Amazon one, so I could bin off my existing solution, could see that working. There was talk of reprices in the press release. Let me grab that for you just to see what it was exactly that they said. It's not there. It's over on this one. Yeah, they did for sure mention reprices. I remember reading it. Or was it just strike-through pricing? Oh, no. So, yeah. The new Magento sales channel capability allows merchants to quickly and seamlessly sell through the Amazon marketplace using the following features. And under pricing strategy, they said access detailed reporting on competitor pricing and use tools designed to increase product visibility and sales. That sounds a little bit like Amazon sponsored listings. That would make the most sense there. And then the next one, deploy custom repricing tools to keep pricing competitive. Now, say that says custom, not native. Deploy custom repricing tools, unless that means you can customize your repricing rules. I don't know. Again, there's a lot of interpretation in here, and also utilize marketing tools such as Amazon straight-through pricing to enhance listings and increase sales. So it sounds like there will be a repricer built in. Will it be Amazon's native repricer? I imagine so. The chances of them using a third party and tying that into this is very slim, because obviously for most other repricers, you are paying a monthly subscription to them, and there's no mention of that. So we will see, unless, again, Magento have built their own Amazon repricer, we don't know. I imagine they'll just tie into the native one. Jay said, if they implemented eBay functionality, I would consider going with Magento 2.0. Yeah, I truly believe, like I said, you've easily got this year out of Magento 1, I would say. And that's probably, I would say definitely, that's definitely the safest route right now. For you running multi-channel, if you're selling on website, Amazon, and eBay, Magento 1 is still the stable platform regarding multi-channel. Next year, like I said, regarding how this Amazon integration goes into 2019, remember, Magento 1.9 is good until 2020 anyway, so we've got time. That's the biggest thing that me and Matt have always said is don't panic. We have time. If your system works, great. It's not going anywhere for at least another few years. But next year, if they bring about an eBay integration natively into Magento, which I imagine they are, because I'm looking at this thinking Magento are watching what Shopify are doing and thinking, damn, these guys are taking some of our sales, especially for the smaller guys who are, who just need simple sort of functions and features. It makes sense. But Shopify mentioned an eBay integration. Now Magento will want an eBay integration, but if I was Magento, I'd want it to be bigger and better and be a lot better than what Shopify's is, which again isn't difficult because Shopify's eBay integration was again .com only. There's 27 eBay marketplaces around the world, and they're only doing .com. eBay is big on cross-border trade. Shopify are ignoring that. Again, like Jay said, maybe the complexity, Shopify want to stay away from it. I don't know. But I would, if I was in Magento right now, I'd be saying do eBay. Do eBay as well. If you're doing Amazon, you might as well do eBay. And then that causes a lot of problems for a lot of software company tools, Limworks, Channel Advisor, all the big guys. They would then be very worried because you don't often get a good Magento website with utilizing those tools. The integration doesn't always work that well. So be interesting to see how that rolls out. Howard, slightly off topic, but is there a Magme alternative for Magento 2 yet? Right. Sorry, I was just reading the rest of it. Sorry, Kevin said, I'm still waiting for Magme for Magento 2 before I move up. Jay saying, I too have a lot of custom workflow based on Magme. Kevin, I have custom Perl scripts running in the back end to change to match database changes. Yeah. As of right now, I don't know of a Magme Magento 2. I certainly know Sebastian, who was the Dweeves, as some of you may know him, who was the creator of Magme for Magento 1. He's not mentioned, he's not been active in a long time on sort of, well, he's been there, he's been in GitHub, and apparently if you dig around, you can see people who have made like unofficial Magme, sort of very basic importers for variations would be out the window. But from what I understand right now, there is not a Magme alternative for Magento 2. And no matter how much Magento can say, yeah, but our imports are better in Magento 2, they're not as good, they're not as fast, they're not as flexible as what Magme allowed you to do. Yeah, Jay, Sebastian is a man. He's a genius. Me and Matt spoke to Sebastian many years ago now, back, and he actually got involved in the UnderstandingE forums a bit, with people getting involved with MagMe. He took some feedback on board, made a few changes. You know, we had a really good relationship with Sebastian. In fact, I've got him on Skype, but I've not seen him online in ages. So it's one of those. We have tried reaching out to him. We've just not heard back from him. Will someone come along and custom code something like that, just like Dweeves did or Sebastian did? Who knows? From what a lot of you are saying, and certainly from what you got to remember, Matt is the techie and the geeky data one out of the two of us. He still thinks that's a major thing for Magento, and I agree with Matt. You know, I bow down to Matt's knowledge when it comes to that sort of stuff. And if he says like MagMe is a crucial part, which obviously so many of you have hopefully used the MagMe tutorials that we have and have seen the benefits and managed to build processes around that, especially if you're dealing with mass data. MagMe just makes it so much easier. So yes, have a look. My neighbor is a chocolatier doing a big business on Amazon using Shopify. It works okay for them, but they have major bugs in their Shopify point of sale. POS can also mean something else. But yeah, point of sale for sure. Yeah, I know people who, some people, again, if you're running basic, like if you're selling one pen, if you're selling a pen with no variations, which fits in an envelope, and there's nothing that can really go wrong with it, Shopify is good. It works. It does what it needs to do. It's great for people running dropship businesses. That was the big thing. Set up a cart and market like hell on Facebook and drive sales through that and dropship. That works. For anything more complex, anything with variations, anything with swatches, colors and sizes and multiple warehouse locations, whatever else it is, Shopify just is not big. It's not big enough. Has, thank you for joining, mate. Loved the Instagram stories earlier as well. Shopify versus Magento for what you're doing with car parts and stuff like that. The car fitments and things like that. Magento just blows the socks off Shopify. It really does. Shopify is just not ready to handle the complexity that comes with fashion, really. If you're doing, again, variant fashion and also car parts. Those are two of the most complex industries to be in. And yeah, Shopify. I'm not saying it can't be done. I'm just saying it won't be easy and it could be messy. And the stuff that you'd want it to do, it wouldn't be able to do. In my opinion, Magento is a much safer bet for anything complex. Howard says Magento 2 native eBay integration with that damn drop down with quantities that I can't have an M3 Pro yet would be great. Drop down with quantities. Are you talking those configurable bundle things, which has been floating around for ever since we started UE? Yeah, who knows? I actually got a developer friend of mine to look at code in that, and he said, yeah, it's a big job. It's a very big. You've probably seen him in the forums, John. He asked a few of you some questions, trying to gauge what you needed, and he came back and went, yeah, it's going to be expensive. What else have we got there? Jay, I first discovered UE when it first started from a MagMe wiki page. Yeah, we got featured on when we first launched the importing into Magento course. We got featured on the MagMe wiki, which I think we're still on there. And that's how a lot of people found us, was because a lot of people MagMe was so geeky, and Matt did his absolute best to dumb it down. And if he could make me sort of understand it, then we'd done a good job. So yeah. I think we saw a lot of success with MagMe, and yeah, I see why a lot of people use it. I mean, I'm not a data nerd by any means, but I see its benefits massively. So again, sorry, I got involved in the chat there. Let's just jump back and see what other questions that I had that were answered. Native integration, yes. Magento 2, yes. What about Fulfilled by Amazon? Will there be a function to track your Fulfillment by Amazon stuff? Will it be able to track your stock that's held in FBA? I mentioned this to Matt, and he said that would be a bit of an adventurous thing for them to launch with, and that's basically what they came out and said. There will be a separate integration for FBA within Magento available later this year. So they're even doing an FBA integration. Shopify aren't doing an FBA integration as far as I'm aware. Yeah, that was another big tick in the box. So again, as FBA is becoming harder and harder to ignore, it's good to see that people are taking that seriously as well. So again, as far as I don't think M3 Pro do M3 do an FBA integration. I don't think they do. I think tracks. I think can assign stock, so it's in FBA, but it's not like a true native integration. If it is, I've certainly not done a tutorial on it. But yeah, so that is the news that Magento has an Amazon integration. It's in early access right now. Stay away from it right now. That is the bottom line message. It's not ready. Do not trust your business with it. Don't be like so many were with Magento 2. Think, oh, shiny new thing. Let's go and trust my entire business in it. Don't do that, please. I hate reading the messages afterwards when it all goes wrong. And you know, I've had the emails. Dave, we moved to Magento 2, even though you said it wasn't ready, and M3 Pro wasn't even ready. And how do I move back to Magento 1? And I'm like, we told you. That's it. So yeah, please do not, please, if anything, don't try and request early access unless you're feeling adventurous. You have a dev setup somewhere where you can upload some test stuff and play with it. By all means, feel free to do that if you're somewhat inclined, but don't trust it with your main business. And like I said, me and Matt will be looking at it. Magento 2, it was on the list. I cleaned the whiteboard, but it's definitely on the to-do list this year. Matt is working on some things which we can't say. These are now public, so we can't give away too much until we are ready to go with them. That's why he's been up so early this morning coding, to give you a clue. But we have got some exciting stuff coming, and as soon as we have that over the line, we'll be back into tutorial mode. Like I said, the plan is there. We have a plan. It's literally just sitting Matt down and hitting the record button is what we need. So once we've done that, we'll be then looking at Magento 2. Is there any way that we can look at... In fact, that's probably something quite interesting, because in sort of Matt's recent exploits with code, again, I hope I'm not giving away too much, we've found ways that we can handle a lot of code very quickly. Sorry, a lot of data very quickly. Whether doing a MAGME replacement is something that Matt would want to get involved with, I'm not entirely sure. I imagine not. So I'm not going to promise anything, but maybe that's something someone will look into in the short term. And yeah, we will do the testing for you. We will see how good the Magento integration is into Amazon. And like I said, for the time being, don't panic. M3 Pro works. It does Amazon and eBay. Stay there for the time being, but be aware what's going on in the world. That's the best advice I can give you. For anyone who is live with me right now, or if you're watching the recording, please scroll down, click that thumbs up button. It means a lot to me personally. It makes me feel popular. And if you're new, subscribe and click the little bell icon. That way you'll always be notified when we go live. To give you a heads up, it's Tuesday, 3 o'clock normally. But yesterday we did do an ad hoc one where we talked about what our thoughts were about the eBay updates and what they could be. It seems like maybe we were a little bit thinking a little bit too far ahead after looking at the announcement later on today. Earlier today. So yeah, check those out as well. But yeah, that's the message. Magento is integrated into Amazon. It's good news, I believe. I think it's a good sign that Magento is very much alive and kicking and very much aware of what sellers like you want from the platform. And right now it's to be on Amazon, is to be on the Amazon wave, selling products on Amazon. I hope eBay follows. It makes perfect sense. for eBay to follow as a native integration. And then that causes some very big questions for a lot of software players in the e-commerce space. So it looks like we've not had any more questions come in which case, I guess there's nothing else left to say other than thank you so much for joining. I really do appreciate it. And again, on behalf of Matt, again, apologies from him that he can't be with us today. But I would expect him to be back next week, where we'll be dissecting an Amazon listing and looking at the keys to making the most out of an Amazon listing. Now, this, again, I saw a forum post only this morning over on understandinge.com/forums. Someone made the exact point about someone had been lazy in putting a listing together, and now they had the same product, but it was crap. And how do we... So what we're going to do, we're going to go through exactly what makes a good Amazon listing, hopefully show you how you can make changes or request changes to the Amazon catalog. And unlike eBay, where me and Matt have said that we've never seen a perfect eBay listing, we do have some very good examples on Amazon to show you exactly what it is that you need to do. So for that, we hope to see you next week, same time, same place, Tuesday, 3 o'clock, here on the UnderstandingE YouTube channel. With that said, thank you so much for watching. Have a fantastic day. Have a fantastic week. Keep up to date with all the latest news over at esellercafe.com, or go and check out the Manc Entrepreneur YouTube channel to be kept up to date with my thoughts on what the eBay spring updates are. And with that said, nothing more to say. I'll stop waffling. Have a good one, guys. I'll see you next week if I don't see you before. Catch you then.